Good morning. Thanks for joining me at Coffee with Kory, and Merry Christmas, everyone. I want to start off with a note of thanks for everyone that posted last week, shared our episode, and even more so, the people that reach out to me directly. I get messages from people almost every week after we have coffee together, and a lot of them start the same. I don't post on social media, but I wanted to reach out and XYZ. And that always means a lot. I realized that the topics that we touched on last week with friendship and faith were meaningful for a lot of people, as they're meaningful to me. And so the fact that you reach out to me and thank me for that means a lot to me. So and as we talked about last week, I was in Florida. Get back on Monday morning and start my day with going to the gym. And it's not very often you go to the gym and you get to talk about Jesus and faith. But Darren from the gym referenced Coffee with Kory, and so we got to have a little chat about some of the things that I referenced on Coffee with Kory, and so I thought it was worth mentioning that sometimes you get to talk about faith when you're in unexpected places as well. So I really thought that was nice. So I want to talk about a topic this week that really started on the plane ride home from Florida. A friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a few months sat right in front of us, and we were making small talk about everything, work and just the busyness of life. And he referenced, he goes, Kory, sometimes it's okay to have a little room on your plate. And I looked over at Jossie, and Jossie looked at me, and she goes, yeah, sometimes you don't have to always be running so hard and have your hands in so many things. And it was a reminder for me. So I appreciate that, Scott, when you said that. And it took me back to a few instances when Casty and Pierce were really little. When Casty and Pierce were younger, the three of us would go out and play on the trampoline a lot and chase each other around and do different little games. And there was an instance where my phone rang, and Pierce looked at me and he goes, Dad, don't answer that. And not gonna lie, it almost broke my heart. I'm thinking to myself, am I really that apt to answer my phone while I'm playing with my kids? And obviously I was, because he wouldn't have said it if I wasn't. So that was an eye-opener for me. I tried to make sure that I was much more cognizant of that in the years moving forward. And on the other side of that spectrum, several years later, kids both have phones at this point in time. Jossie was out of town for something, and Casty and Pierce and I went out to a restaurant to eat. Buffalo Wild Wings, I believe it was. I know it was. And we made a pact that we're going to go in, enjoy each other's company, have fun, and not be on our phones a single second. And we did that. Had a great time, laughing and chatting, and it was really telling when the server came over. I paid the bill, and a server comes over and she looks at me and she goes, "Sir, I just want to let you know how nice it was to see a family out to dinner and have not one person pick up their phone a single time." And obviously that made the kids feel good too. But what it really told me is that doesn't happen very often, and in our society. And so I felt like that was probably a pretty good reminder for all of us. This time of year, we're gathered with a lot of our friends and relatives and having a great time. And I think a lot of times the tendency is to be thinking about what's next rather than being present where we're at. And I'm going to take that back to, I reference this Instagram feed all the time where I'm reading inspirational quotes and everything. And as I come to find out, Kobe Bryant had a lot of things that he was quoted as saying that really mean a lot to me. I never appreciated the guy while he was playing basketball because he was really playing against my teams. But he did have a lot of good sound bites and thoughts. And I read one the other day that said, it doesn't matter how many hours you practice, it matters how many hours your mind is present while you practice, which really comes back to the same thing. Be present, whatever you're doing. It doesn't matter whether you're practicing, whether you're with your friends and family, whether you're working. There's several hours where you can get lost in work as well and not be very effective or efficient because your mind is thinking about other things. So just this holiday season, guys, I hope that you'll think about that. I know I sure will, to just be present in the moment. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I appreciate you very much for joining me again this morning. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next week at Coffee with Kory.